Hey darlings, welcome back. In today's class, I'm going to be showing you guys multiple ways to start and finish cornrow. I will show you how to start cornrow first. For those of you that are beginners, I will show you how to start without adding any extension, and then we're going to progress into adding extension. I will show you the traditional way to cornrow, and I will show you the Feedin way to cornrow, which is basically the knotless version of cornrow, and we'll also work on stitch braids. So if you already know what your struggle is with cornrow, I will split this class into like multiple sections so you could actually skip over to what you need to learn how to do. But first, I'm going to focus on those of you that are beginners, and we're going to do a cornrow. We're going to learn how to cornrow first without adding in any braiding here. Okay, so let's do that now. So what I want to show you is basically how to achieve this, okay? And to achieve this, what I did is to start with box braids. So if you're doing cornrow, you must already know how to start a box braid. If you don't know how to start a basic box braid, I recommend you go watch my video called Grip Roots with me. I showed how to start box braids for beginners, and so this is what we're going to achieve today. So how did I get to this point? Let me show you now. So first, I'm just gonna make a random part like this, and I'm not gonna focus too much on making the parts perfect because these mannequins, the way that they make their hair, it's hard to get the lines to be like really crisp. So just do the best that I can to get the line, okay? So once I have a part like this, now we're going to start the cornrow. All right, let me clip this away. And I'm gonna apply some shining jam. This just helps my hands to just glide through the cornrow and also makes the part neat. So just add a little bit of jam on the left and on the right, like this. So the easy way to start a cornrow is to make a part right here in the beginning, and this part right here is going to be you starting with box braid. Okay, now from this point going forward, okay, how you position your hand is going to determine how neat the cornrow is going to be. Okay, the wrong way to position your hand is by holding the hair and splitting it like this. Okay, so if I take this section of hair and split it into 3 strands like this, and if I start cornrolling like this, right, by crossing over to the left, to the right, to the left, to the right, to the left, to the right, this is how some people start their box braids. It's gonna be hard for me to lay this flat, okay? Because to lay your box braid flat, you're going to start having to take in hair from the left, right, and add all this hair into the box braid as you go down. Okay, now if I position my hand like this, it's gonna be hard for me to take in hair to progress down. Okay, because my goal is to achieve this. I want the box braid to lay flat like this. Okay, so let me show you what I mean by it's gonna be hard. All right, although some people succeed in doing this, but it's actually gonna be harder. So if you start your box braid like this by crossing over the hair to the left side and then the right side and then taking in hair, it's gonna be hard to get all the hair in a way that is neat, although some people do it, but you're not going to have as much control when you do this. Okay, so for you to lay your box braid flat and to achieve this, you have to position your hand in such a way that you have control over the natural hair and you could lay your box braid flat while you're adding in hair. So this is how I like to position my hand. And to start box braid, of course you have to split the hair into 3 equal strands like this. So once I have these 3 equal strands, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cross over this strand to the left side. Okay, so hold the strand with my thumb and my index finger, and also with my middle finger as well, as many fingers as you need to hold the strand. Okay, so I'm going to braid to the left, and then I'm going to open my thumb and my index finger. Okay, so braid to the left, take the left strand, boom, and then take the middle strand. Okay, and what I'm going to do now is to cross over this strand right here, okay, to the left side. All right, so boom, let's repeat this again. Okay, so this is the motion: braid left, braid right, braid left, braid right, braid left, braid right. And I'm sure you can see the box braid already forming. Okay, now what I want to do next is to add in the hair. So right now, just because I was showing you, I've already passed the point where I'm supposed to add this hair. So let's do it over again. And this time I'm going to show you by adding in hair as I go. Okay, so again, hold the 3 strands. I'm going to braid to the left. All right, and take the middle strand, and I'm going to braid to the right. And this time when I get to the right side, because I'm right-handed, so I have more control on the right side, but you could also take in hair on the left. So what I'm going to do now is to take a piece of hair and add it to this strand right here. Okay, so now take the middle strand, and we're going to braid to the left. And when I get to the left side, I'm going to take a piece of hair from here and open my thumb and my index finger and add it to the strand. Okay, let's do it again. Braid to the right side, take some hair and add it to the middle of my, in between my index and my thumb. Okay, let's do it again. Braid to the left side, add hair. Okay, braid to the right side, add hair. Now there's no specific amount of hair that you really need to add. You just need to start adding hair as you go. So whatever hair is around there, okay, when you get to the left side, whatever hair is around here, you just add. This is not stitch braid, so you really don't have to like make it super you don't need to make any lines to make it very pronounced. So just add hair whatever you can at this point. Okay, so let's braid to the left and just keep adding hair like this. You add hair on the left, okay, add hair on the right, okay, add hair on the left, add hair on the right. So you can see right now I'm taking a very small piece, so whatever hair that is in my way, once I braid to a certain point, is what I'm going to add as I go. So just continue with the motion of left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, until you braid all the way down. Okay, left, right, left, right, okay, until you braid all the way down. Okay, and once you reach the end of your cornrow, what you do now is to flip the braid over. Okay, so you could finish the box braid like this. So we achieved this, and this is how to start your basic cornrow without adding in extension. So let's move over to the next section of the class where we're going to add in extension. Alright, so in this section of the class, we're going to learn how to add in extension, and we're going to do this for traditional cornrow. So traditional cornrow is basically the traditional version of traditional box braids, okay? Because we're starting the cornrow with box braid, and we're starting the box braid with the braiding hair, okay? For knotless, you only start with the mannequin's hair. You start with the natural hair, which we're going to get to after this, okay? So let's start with box braids. So for box braid, of course, you want to cross over the braiding hair to have 3 equal strands like this, okay? And we're basically going to repeat what I did in the first section of this class, and this time around we're going to repeat this with adding extension. So I'm going to make a part in the beginning to start the box braid, and we're going to start adding in here as we go. So for box braid, I like to flip the braiding hair over so that way I have a pre-knotted hair. And next I'm going to box braid the hair, okay? So I'm going to hold the beginning of the hair. I'm going to place the braiding hair over and open my thumb and my index finger and take the whole hair into it. And then now I'm going to take this middle piece of the braiding hair, place my middle finger on the knot, and then I'm going to start splitting in the natural hair and the braiding hair together, okay? Okay, so when I get to the left side, I'm going to split the natural hair evenly to the braiding hair. And so by doing this, I have the beginning of my box braid, as you can see, okay? Now, if splitting in the natural hair is hard for you to do as you go, you could just you could split in the natural hair before you even start box braiding. So you could split the natural hair into 3 equal strands before you even start the box braid like this, okay? So once you have the 3 strands, first I'm going to focus on the middle one, okay? And I'm going to place it in between my index and my thumb, okay? Just gonna braid over to the right side and then take the right piece in between my index and my thumb, and then I'm going to braid over to the left side and basically repeat what I just did and place the left strand in between my index and my thumb. So that's how to split the natural hair into the braiding hair like that. Okay, so now the box braid is basically situated, okay? I have the base of the box braid situated, and then what I'm going to start doing now is to add in the natural hair as I go. So take a little piece of the natural hair and open my index and my thumb, take that in there, and then braid to the left side. Repeat the same thing I just did. Take a piece of hair, open up my index and my thumb, and just continue to go like this. Just continue to add in hair on the right, braid to the left, add in hair on the left, braid to the right, add in hair on the right, braid to the left, add in hair on the left, braid to the right, add in hair on the right. So usually for traditional box braids, you could just continue this motion without adding in more braiding hair, but when we get to the size progression section of this class, I will show you how to progress with the size of the cornrow if you want to start making the cornrow thicker. But for right now, we're just maintaining a standard size, okay? So I'm just going to continue to braid and take in hair like this, okay? So boom, just like that, I have succeeded in adding in extension, okay? And just braid all the way down. Keep braiding all the way down, and then if I want to make the box braid at the end longer, when I get to the end of the cornrow, I can then add more braiding hair to make it longer. Okay, let me show you right now. So I'm gonna take a piece of braiding hair like this, and I'm just going to add it right here at the end of the braid like this. Okay, braid, braid, and then tuck this piece under. Don't worry, we're gonna do more of this when we get to size progression. And then I flip the braid and then just continue to finish the box braid as I go. So that's how to do traditional cornrows, starting with traditional box braids. Alright, so let's do Feedin cornrow, okay, using the same braiding hair in the same part of the natural hair. And this time around, we're going to start the mannequin's cornrow with the mannequin's hair, okay? And then we're going to start feeding in hair as we go. So this is the size of the braiding hair that we used previously. What I'm going to do is basically to split it into like 3 strands is enough. Yeah, like 3 strands. You could even split it into 4. It just depends on how much you want to continue to feed in hair as you go. But either way, you're going to get the same size of the previous braid for the traditional. Okay, so I split the hair into 3 strands like this, and we're going to feed in these 3 strands into the braid. So again, start the cornrow by making a part in the beginning. Okay, start the cornrow by making a part in the beginning, and we're gonna start with the mannequin's hair. Okay, so braid to the right, braid to the left, braid to the right, and this time before I take in more hair, I'm first going to feed in the braiding hair. Okay, now there's 2 ways to feed in braiding hair. Oops, hold on. So you could start feeding in by, this mannequin just keeps moving. You could start feeding by placing the braiding hair over like this, okay, and you let go, you braid to the left, take hair, you braid to the right, okay, tuck this piece under and take hair. Or you could start feeding in like this. Let me show you another way to do this. Okay, you braid left, braid right, and instead of placing the braiding hair over, you could just tuck the braiding hair right here on the right strand like this. Either way, you're still going to achieve the same results. And you braid to the left, take hair, you braid to the right, you could take hair and tuck that piece under. So whether you place the hair over or you place the hair on the side, there's still gonna be 1 piece left for you to tuck under, if that makes sense. Okay, so I usually just like to place the braiding hair over because it gives me, personally, it gives me more control over the cornrow as I continue to feed in the hair. Okay, so I'm just gonna do what feels comfortable for me. You could feed in hair as it feels comfortable for you. Okay, so this is how I like to feed in, and let's do this again. So braid to the left, braid to the right, okay, and then I'm going to feed in my first strand, place the hair over like this, let go of this strand. I'm gonna braid to the left side and take some natural hair. Okay, I'm gonna braid to the right side, take some natural hair, and tuck this piece under. And as soon as I tuck this piece under, I feed in my next braiding hair, and this is how I just continue to feed in. Okay, place the braiding hair over like this, let go of this strand, braid to the left, take some hair, braid to the right, take some hair, tuck this piece under, and then feed in my next strand. Okay, place the braiding hair over, let go of the strand, braid to the left side, take some hair, braid to the right side, take some hair, tuck this piece under. Okay, and from this point going forward, I could decide if the cornrow, the size of the cornrow progress and start adding more hair and start fitting more hair, or I could just finish the cornrow maintaining the same size. Okay, so I'm just going to maintain the same size, and when we get to size and progressions, we're going to focus on progressing with the size of the cornrow. So I'm done feeding in hair until I reach the end of the cornrow, and I'm just going to continue to cornrow left, right, like this. Okay, I could fit in here at this point. Tuck this piece under like this. Okay, and then finish the braid. Boom, that's how to start with, you know, the mannequin's hair and feeding. Alright guys, let me show you guys how to do stitch braids. Okay, ignore these two braids right here. I was working on something and I had to switch mannequin real quick. So for the stitch braids, I'm going to show you how to do it without braiding hair and also with braiding hair. For my stitch braids, I like to use my index finger because it's easier for me. Some people like to use your pinky, and it's very uncomfortable for me to use my pinky. I don't know if it's because I have a very small pinky, and I also don't wear nails like that. So I know people who use their pinky, they mostly use nails, or they use there's some type of tool that they put on their pinky. It's just too much. Like, I don't want to keep doing this, so I like to use my index finger. And I'll also show you how to use a comb if what I'm about to show you doesn't work for you. Okay, so for my stitch braids, I of course add some shine and jam on the edges like this. Okay, you definitely need jam because you can't do this with dry hair. And once the jam is in there, I'm gonna make a part in the beginning right here to start the stitch braids. Okay, and I'm also going to make a part in the middle so that the braid could basically follow this, the braid could follow the middle and stay in the middle while I have the stitches on the side. Okay, so make a part in the middle like this. All right, so once I have this, I could start stitching. And let's get to it. All right, so I start off by first braiding. Hold up, let me make sure this is equal. Excuse me. Okay, so I start off by braiding about 3 times. So braid 1, 2, 3. So I'm right-handed. Okay, so I'm gonna start my stitching from the right side, and I just hold the hair like this, and then I'm gonna use my index finger to split the hair and get my first stitch like this and just add it to the braid. Okay, and then I'm gonna braid to the left side and just repeat the same thing that I just did, and just use my index finger to split the hair and just add it to the braid. Okay, so I want to make sure I stay in the middle, and I make sure that the hair that I'm taking from both sides are like equal to each other. As you can see, I try to make sure that it's kind of like close to the same line. Okay, it's equal to each other. And I'm gonna do it again. Take our hair right here, braid to the left side, and take hair from the left. Okay, and then braid to the right side and take some hair from the right, braid to the left side, and take some hair on the left. And I just continued the motion basically. So once you get this motion, it's gonna be easier for you to add the braiding hair. And I just continue. So the braid in the middle, the line in the middle, sorry, actually really helps to kind of make me see where I'm going with the stitch. And so yeah. It's a little bit tricky doing this on a mannequin because of the way that they make the scalp of the mannequin, so like the hair is not like as equal, but I'm just doing my best to show you guys. And one thing I noticed with stitch braids is that the stitches are more pronounced with thin hair than thicker hair. So if you're doing a stitch braid on someone with thin hair, it's more pronounced. You see the stitches more than if you were to do someone with thick hair. That's just one thing I've noticed though. But yeah, so this is just how I continue left, right until I finish. Okay. Yeah, so I didn't get the hair in the middle here. Make sure I do that. Okay, and back to it. And so yeah, that's basically how I start and finish my stitch. Okay, so now let me show you if you were to do this using a comb, because you could use a comb too. And let me show you that with this one. Okay, so the same thing. So for a comb, I don't necessarily need to like split the hair in the middle, but I'm still gonna start the braid by doing a line right here in the beginning, and then I'm going to start using the comb to make the stitches as I go. So this is what I would do: braid 1, 2, 3, and then take the comb and take a piece of hair from here, braid to the left, take a piece of hair from the left side, okay, and then braid to the right. So this is a little bit it's more work, and that's why I just prefer to use my index finger, because I have to have the comb on standby and always continue to do this like throughout the braid. But if this is easy, I hope you guys can see what I'm doing. But if this is easy for you to do, then by all means go ahead and do it. But yeah, you just continue to take hair from one side, add it to the braid, go to the left side, and repeat the same. And using a comb like this is good, like with the open space in the middle is helpful than actually using a rat tail comb. So that's it for the comb. Now let me assume and let me try to use my pinky to continue from here going down. It's like, it's hard for me to do. Like, I don't know how people do this. Like, it's just hard for me to do. It's possible, but it's just not the easiest thing for me to do. Like, just keep doing this. It's like, I don't like to do this. I'd rather use the comb and make my life easier, or use my index finger to make my life easier. So whatever you really want to do is really up to you, and you just continue like that until you finish the stitch. Okay, so let me show you how to add in the extension hair as you do this. Okay, so make the line on top. And I'm gonna make my line in the middle. Okay. So I have all the braiding here that I'm going to fit into the braid right here. And I just start the regular way, braid 1, 2, 3, okay? And I'm gonna take my first stitch, add it to it, and once I do that, I'm gonna take the braiding hair, place it over like this, let go of this strand, braid to the left, take my left stitch, okay, and then when I get to the right, I'm gonna tuck this piece under and take my next stitch like this. And as soon as I tuck that piece under and take my next stitch, what I do next is to feed in the next strand. So if you don't want to place the braiding hair over, sorry, there's shine and gem on my hand. If you don't want to place the braiding hair over, you could actually just place it on the side like this. Okay. You just place it right there underneath. Either way, you're still going to have one piece that is just hanging for you to tuck under, okay? And then I'm gonna braid to the left side and just make my next stitch. Okay. Tuck this piece under. Make my right stitch, feed in the next braiding hair. So stitch braid doesn't really need a lot of braiding here, because you want to basically make sure that the braid is not too thick to the point that you cannot see the stitches, and the braid is not too thick to the point that it's covering the stitches. So the less braiding here you use, the better. And if you want to make the braid big, then use make the size of the hair big. We're going to cover size progression next week. Because of time, I have other stuff to do today, so I'm not gonna be able to show you guys that today. But next time I will show you guys size progressions for feeding braids, stitch braids, how to make the braid go from looking small in the beginning and then going thicker. Okay, so just continue this motion until you finish the braid. And I could just finish the rest of the braid like that. But yeah, I hope this was helpful for you. I hope you get the point, and hope this was helpful. So this is basically how I do my stitch braids and add braiding here. So next week I was actually already working on how I was gonna teach you guys how to do the size progressions, how to get the braids from looking thin like this to getting thick. So we're gonna cover that next time. So hopefully by next Saturday, yeah, or maybe the beginning of September, like whenever I have the time to do it. But I already have in mind what to show you guys, so you could get your braids to be close together for spacing and fullness, for regular feeding braids, and for stitch braids as well. So thank you guys for watching this video. If this video was helpful to you, give it a thumbs up, like this video. It will allow other people on YouTube to see it as well. And you guys enjoy your wonderful day. Love ya.